Need a break from true crime? Then roll for initiative and check out I Crit You Not, a brand new actual play RPG podcast from the team behind Sirens.
Join host and game master Rick Rollins as he leads a cast of players through wild adventures, ridiculous monsters, and totally unscripted chaos. Whether you're a longtime tabletop fan or brand new to the world of role-playing, Rick makes it easy to follow along and even teaches the rules as you go. Expect big laughs, bigger mistakes, and character-driven storytelling where every dice roll can change everything.
If you're ready to trade cold cases for critical hits, listen to I Crit You Not wherever you get your podcasts. Even the darkest minds need a little magic.
Got the book here today. You got one? Wait, got one?
This is amazing.
Well, thanks for being here.
Of course. So Raven, whose voice I know.
Yes, that's me.
From her narration career. Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here.
We are speaking today with Sagit Schwartz. Okay, awesome. And you wrote a book. It's called Since She's Been Gone. And we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to talk about writing. We're going to talk about careers. We're going to talk about a bunch of cool stuff.
From chilling novels and psychological thrillers to horror short stories, film and screenplays, to true crime, podcasts, music, and the art of storytelling itself, Dreadfully Yours invites listeners into conversations with the minds behind the stories that stay with us. Hosted by author, audiobook narrator, and podcaster Raven Rollins, each chapter blends cinematic narration with intimate discussions exploring creativity, suspense, and the human experiences woven into dark storytelling. Welcome to the show, where stories linger long after the last page. This is Dreadfully Yours.
So I want to start with just a quick introduction to you before writing.
Well, I'm a licensed psychotherapist. I'm currently not practicing. I'm writing full time, but I did practice for close to a decade. And my license is still current because, once you get that license and you do all the hard work and the state board exams and the endless hours to even be able to take the state board exams, that's not something you just walk away from easily. So my license is still current. And I transitioned to writing full time first with television and film. And then during the pandemic, made a turn more towards novels. And that's what I'm doing. Really, the only writing I'm doing now is that, with the exception of maybe an article here or there, but I haven't really done television or film writing in a while. I'm not adverse to it, but I prefer novel writing.
So I didn't know that about you. Okay, that's a whole other block we're gonna have to talk about later. Let's start with the psychotherapy. So what kind of led you down that path?
I was in my mid-20s and I lost my mom tragically, and she was very young, and I was absolutely being swallowed up by grief. And I sought therapy, I sought help, and it was an incredibly transformative experience. And I really felt like I healed so much in that process. And I thought I could be good at it. I looked at it, I said, this is actually something that I could do. And I could help others the way that I had been helped. So I started I applied to get my master's in clinical psychology. And that was a long process. Then I had gotten married. I had a young baby. It was like a whole thing. I remember holding, my daughter, I was carrying her. She was like a little baby. I was carrying her with the cap and gown at graduation from my master's in clinical psychology. And then I practiced for a while in Los Angeles. And I saw a lot of different, my practice was a general practice, but I did specialize in adult children who were survivors of child abuse, trauma, all different kinds of experiences, and a significant portion had eating disorders. I had that knowledge in terms of what that looked like. And when I went to write my thriller, I consume like 90% of what I read are mysteries and thrillers and detective novels. And in the genre, in the crime fiction space, a lot of mental health issues are addressed, from addiction to depression to, all kinds of things. But the one thing that I found scarce in adult contemporary fiction in terms of mental health representation was eating disorders. And so I decided that I wanted to write this book for it to be, hopefully a gripping page-turning story, as well as a piece of advocacy. And because I believe representation matters, I believe books can be used as windows in terms of empathy into what other human beings are going through, as well as mirrors into what we ourselves are experiencing as human beings. And then, you feel less alone in your experience. That oftentimes can strip away things like shame, which create barriers for people to seek treatment and help when they're so consumed in shame. So I think writing a book with this kind of representation, my hope was that it would help people who might otherwise feel isolated and alone, because eating disorders tend to thrive in shame, to make them feel less alone, maybe more likely to seek treatment. And I have to say, I've heard from a lot of readers where that has been the case. And they have thanked me for writing a book that had this kind of representation. But of course, I was going to make a wonderful thriller, as I said, as I hope, because that's what I love to read. And so turn the pages quickly, but you're also getting this other piece.
Just one of my favorites is the back and forth, like the present past sort of thing. And I love that you implemented that.
Well, I should probably tell your listeners what the book is about so they know what we're referencing. It's about a psychologist in recovery from an eating disorder who learns the mom she lost to a hit and run 26 years before might still be alive and keeping dangerous secrets. And I'm not giving anything away because this happens in the first 2 pages of the book, but essentially a woman shows up to her office under the guise of being a new patient and drops this bombshell and tells her, hey, your mom is actually still alive. And she buried her mom 26 years before. And the book's trajectory is her going on a journey across the United States, trying to piece together what actually happened to her mother and if she's still alive, with flashbacks from the past when she was a 15-year-old girl after she had lost her and went to residential treatment for an eating disorder. So we get to see her life back then as a young teenager who has just suffered this unbelievable loss and what she went through during that time and her journey to tackle the eating disorder, alternating with the present of her trying to find her mom when some of the lingering aspects of the eating disorder start to resurface as she is revisiting this trauma.
Yes. And I do want to add, it's not like somebody walked in and went, oh, your mom might still be alive. Have fun figuring that out. It was like they walked in and was like, your mom is alive and you have like a certain time period to figure it out. And I'm in danger and you're in danger and everybody's in danger and go, go, go.
Yes.
And it is like
yes.
From the beginning. It is like that from the beginning. So,
and with proof. She brings the bracelet that her mom always wore, that the police had said was stolen after the hit and run. So, yeah, it's very highly charged.
But that takes me to the differences in child patients and adult patients, because you do have two different perspectives. in this book. And so I kind of wanted to know how you attacked that.
Yeah, to your point, in terms of tackling the past and the present, that's a really interesting question, because when I started writing it, I have to say I was about 10 chapters in, and it wasn't a dual timeline.
Really?
It was just present day. But I found that each chapter, half of it, I was talking about what happened in the past. And then the old adage of show, don't tell.
Right.
It's like, this would be much more powerful if I just did this as its own, storyline and actually showed what happened rather than, and then I went there when I was 15 and then no, just make her 15 going through those things. And so at that point, about 10 chapters in, I was like, this is going to be a dual timeline thriller. Interestingly, and again, I had no idea, this is just happened organically in the writing process, and was a lesson to me to just always be open and not be so fixated and set on your ideas of how you're going to tell a story. This was a lesson because then after my publisher acquired it, and they have quarterly sales meetings where they present the books that are, and they usually do it 2 quarters in advance, where they present the books that they're going to be releasing 2 quarters ahead. And the sales department got really excited because they said that dual timeline thrillers sell really well.
Well, I love them.
I had no knowledge of that when I wrote it. As I said, I was writing it not to be a dual timeline, but in the process, it organically became a dual timeline thriller. So it was a lesson to me to just be open and not. And oftentimes, the best things in writing happen when you just let things evolve, where you're not so constrained and no, I've got to do it like that, And many readers have told me that the past was so visceral for them. They really felt it and it resonated. And so I'm glad that I ended up breaking it up and just being open to what happened when I was writing the book.
Well, I also think that specifically with this book, you tend to also revisit your own childhood traumas. And it, at least for me, it kind of made me face those a little more, even though mine has nothing to do with eating disorders. Well, I say that, but then again, I was one of those kids who didn't want to eat because I was overweight. So I never ate. And then you add trauma on top of that. And it really did make me remember being 15. But, and so I don't know, that's why I like dual timelines, because you get to go back to a place where is comfortable. It seems like you had a lot less responsibilities, but in reality, you kind of realize how many you actually had, and you can face those. Even though it might be traumatic, it is still technically a safe place because you know what happened.
I also think we're all walking around with the depth and breadth of our experiences in our lives. You meet someone as a human being now, and it is the present, but there's a whole picture there. I remember actually when I was in graduate school, this is interesting, in my couples therapy class, when I was getting my master's in clinical psychology, one of my professors said that he found couples therapy more challenging because when he had 2 patients in front of him, he had behind them, there were all of their parents, whether they were absent, living, or so it's he was having, multiple parents of each party. And so, because that's what you're up against, right? That's what you're dealing with, because all of those experiences, absent parent, contentious marriage, whatever it is that makes a person arrive to where they are in present day, just when we start to really look at each other as just whole human beings with all of the lived in experiences that we have, my hope was it gave Beatrice in my book more depth in the present when the readers read her past. So had a better understanding of where she had arrived today, how she had gotten there, and what she was facing because of those early experiences in her life.
I also do really like how you kind of explained things that, well, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know anything really about eating disorders. But when you go back, and this is the weird part I just realized, even though she's a psychotherapist, like in the present, most of the explanation comes from when she was a child, when she was 15, because that is when she is experiencing the thing. And like, there was a lot of like statistics and information and stuff in there that I just was not aware of. And like you said, I think that today is the day to start representing, because I agree. I think representation does absolutely matter. And just because it might be 1% or 5%, those people are still out there. And
Actually, 9%.
9%.
It's 9%. And yet I don't really understand why it is a mental health issue that's so scarce in terms of representation in adult contemporary fiction. And you see it more in YA. You see it in new adult as well. But in terms of adult, it's not very, you don't come across it that much. And again, when 9% of the population is dealing with something that's surprising, I think my theory is that publishers have been hesitant to touch this historically because in the media it's been glamorized and sensationalized in a way that other mental health issues are not. Because we live in a fat-phobic society. So it becomes this twisted aspirational thing instead of being a life-threatening mental health issue.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's why. And I'm thankful to my editor, Jess Verdi, because she went to bat for the book and said, with great power comes great responsibility. And we as a publisher believe this book should be out in the world. So I'm really grateful for that.
That is really great.
I mean, it's a mystery thriller too, but yes, it's what the protagonist has dealt with in the past and what resurfaces as she's trying to find her mom or what happened to her mom.
Yeah, it's a huge part of her background, of who she is and what grief can do to you when you lose someone. And even in, the present setting, you still see her combating that. And, inner demons still going, no, I can't, you have to, and just kind of trying to actively think about that every single day. And it could be exhausting. And so I think that the representation is really great in it. The only time I've ever seen, I think, that represented in a decent way, I think, was like Girl Interrupted.
I that was an inspiration for me,
really?
Actually, with this book. Yes, it was.
I love that.
Me too. And if you can believe it, there's a whole generation they don't even know about it really.
Get out of here. Go get it right now.
I know. I have to say, after I finished writing my book, I reread Girl Interrupted. I hadn't read it in decades. The book is so funny. I was so surprised. The film is not funny at all, but the book is really funny. She's funny.
I have to go reread it.
And I think, it was wildly successful, unexpectedly so. The publisher did not think it was going to move any units. Nobody wanted it. It was like a young editor.
Aw.
Like nobody wants to read about, someone and again, this is a different era where
it's real life though.
Right. But it was a different era before people remotely spoke openly about mental health issues.
Yeah.
It was unheard of. But the book is so funny. And I was just I think this is part of why it was so successful, because she has such an acerbic wit about her.
I'm guessing you've used your experiences as a psychotherapist to kind of help you create these nuanced and realistic characters, because I'm not going to lie, there's some pretty tragic stuff in this book.
Yeah, I did. And then also, the whole idea of the book really was born from my experience losing my mom. And through the years, I'd always thought about, and still do often, like, what if she had lived? How would my life, what would it have looked like had she lived? How would things have been different? And then the next step from there was like, what if I found out she was actually still alive? And so the idea of the book was actually born from my experiences. And she's very much in the book, my mom. The letters she wrote me, I included. Her eulogy was her eulogy, like 70% of it. The name, Irene is the mother in the book. That was my mom's middle name. So there were just like, she was infused in the book. So there was a lot of
It makes me want to go cry now.
there was a lot of inspiration there. She is not in my next book, which is filled with cray-cray delusional people. She is not there, okay? This thriller is a little bit different. It's a little, in my mind, genre bending because my intention was that it ended on a note of hope. And a lot of thrillers are not like that. It's not really about that. About the twists at the end or the this. And I was really trying to write a book that had a hopeful message because I did want to leave with the message that eating disorder recovery is possible. So
there are still twists, by the way.
There's a lot of twists.
Don't think there's not. There are still
sometimes twists. The whole point of a thriller is the end, is this big twist at the end. And I really wanted my book to just leave people with a sense of optimism and hope that eating disorder recovery is possible.
Well, in any recovery, really, because I felt better after reading it too. So.
I'm so.
But again, it was that stigma that we were talking about. I mean, mental health up until the last, maybe 5 years just has not been openly discussed.
Yeah, I'm so glad as touched as I have been by readers who have reached out, who have been personally impacted by eating disorders, I've also had several readers say, I knew nothing about them, but I'm now a better person for having read the book. I have more compassion. I get it now in a way I didn't. And so I'm a better person for understanding. And I think that helps people too that are suffering, because it is like addiction. It is so steeped in shame. And if you can strip away the shame, as I said earlier, that can also potentially strip away barriers to seeking treatment.
To that point, so my next question would be, because having learned and having more compassion, when it goes into your writing, how do you approach putting these really sensitive topics into your book? I guess sensitively, but yet still authentically.
Yeah, I think that the main lens is that this is not glamorous. It's not aspirational. It can kill you. And it's a real struggle. And to show that honestly, something being life-threatening is not glamorous. It's not something anyone should aspire to. It's really scary and serious. And so just being true to that reality, I think, steered me from making this glamorous or doing a insensitive job in portraying the realities of what you might be up against.
Not only is this your only topic, but you do kind of hit on the opioid crisis as well. And so I was kind of wondering what led you to incorporate that.
From a plot and story point of view, I wanted there to be a parallel between Beatrice's journey and her mother's journey. Although they were different, they both face their challenges. And ultimately, when at the end of the book, when Beatrice is left to face the question of whether she is going to give herself the grace of a second chance, she has her mother's journey to look at and say, well, my mom gave herself that grace. And I'm glad she did, because I was born and my life matters. And so I'm going to give myself that same gift. So that was, from a story point of view, why I wanted to include it. in terms of the opioid crisis, it's really hard to be in a mental health care setting as a clinician and not bump up against it. It is so widespread. And of course, I had come across just egregious things in my practice where people were people with histories of addiction get in a car accident and their doctor doesn't even like screen them for a prior history of addiction. They're sober and then they, give them something that really should be treated with an Advil or something like that with a narcotic. And things like that I saw. And then in recent years, everything that has come out and happened with the Sackler family. So yeah, that's kind of how that came to be, both from my own personal experiences in the clinical world and then just from a story point of view, thinking that that would be a good parallel for Beatrice and her mom.
And these aren't even, just listeners, beware. These aren't even the only two hot topics. I don't want to give anything else away. Okay, I don't want to spoil anything, but like, if you have triggers, you should probably find like a disclaimer or something.
My author's note is at the beginning of the book. And I include everything because I, as a writer, but also as a therapist, first do no harm, right? So.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I remember reading this now. So yes, there is a content warning. Make sure you read it.
It's the first thing that you come across. And even, I didn't have a way to do it with the arcs, with readers requesting. So I had something pinned to my Instagram page when the arcs came out. Because the arc, for whatever reason, the digital arc had it, but the physical arcs did not have it. Because I think they went to print before it was done. And so I pinned it to my Instagram page and was just like, please read this. Yeah.
There are a lot of people out there that are upset that books are starting to have content warning. But I'm all about it.
I don't get that. I think it's the reader's decision to decide what's good for them and healthy for them. I don't get why you wouldn't put one in.
I don't know. I am a sexual assault survivor. Yet somehow that is not a thing that triggers me, really.
For another person, it might be.
Exactly. Going into that knowing, just like with a true crime book, I basically dove deep into this woman's sexual assault. I laid it all bare and I put a disclaimer at the beginning and I said, listen, I've been through this. She went through this. You might have gone through this. And some of us can handle reading about that and some of us can't. And that's okay.
Yep. And it's the reader's choice. But give them the agency to do that. I mean, as I said, some people in recovery might want to read something like that. And for others, it might be too stimulating. So let the reader decide.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's my mantra.
Absolutely. So I wanted to kind of switch to a lighter note here.
Yes.
So the book has us going like across country.
Yeah.
All the way across country.
Yes.
What made you think, we need to go all the way from like LA to New York City and back again? Was that just something that you just wanted to pick these little pit stops along the way? You had that in your mind, or did it just kind of write itself?
I mean, it had to do with Irene's story because she had, that's where she went to college and where things happened that set the trajectory of her life. Beatrice's mom, she went to college in New York. So I don't think Beatrice had to go there to try and piece together what had happened to her mom in those years that led to perhaps her, disappearance or death. But I also happen to have I went to college in New York. I lived there, so it was kind of fun for me to write about on a personal level, and kind of although I did not have those experiences, just to relive some of those years. And I actually included a professor of mine that passed, sadly, and a friend of mine that passed, and made them into a character that combined both of their names, their first and last name, and made them into a character in the book that was one of Irene's former professors. So, you get to do that when you write, both good and bad. I have this is funny. I have a cup that says, "Be careful or you might end up in my novel." And I live with a teenage girl, and so I walk around with it a lot to remind her. And she laughed when she saw it for the first time. She laughed nervously.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Yeah.
Have you seen that that thing that people are doing on social media where they're describing their book as something meets something?
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
So I was just kind of interested in what you would say your book is.
I had at one point said it was the last thing he told me meets Girl Interrupted.
Okay.
I had at one point said that.
Okay. You want to hear mine? So mine is Girl Interrupted 2, but it's Girl Interrupted meets My Girl 2.
Meets My Girl 2. I don't know My Girl 2.
You've never seen, okay, did you ever watch My Girl?
No, I'm writing this. Oh, I got to write it down.
What? This is blowing my mind right now. Okay. So you have to watch My Girl 2. Like My Girl 1 and My Girl 2 kind of have to do with each other, but My Girl 2 is basically, it's like set in the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was this 14, 15-year-old girl who had lost her mother when she was much younger, and she kind of like gets this, she wants to be a writer, and she finds out that her mother used to write and was like into all of this art stuff, and went to this college, this arts college and all this stuff. And so she literally flies across the country. I think it was New York City too. Or no, she went from New York to LA. It was backwards. And she goes and tracks down her mom. But she goes and like tracks down her mother's past and everywhere she's been, and she talks to her old professors, and she talks to her old boyfriends, and you gotta watch.
Wait a second. If I watch My Girl 2, do I need to see My Girl 1 first?
You could.
I mean, is it the same characters?
No, it's it is the same characters, but the storyline really has nothing to do with each other.
Oh, okay.
It's got Dan Aykroyd in it.
Okay.
My Girl 1 is very sad. It's got Macaulay Culkin in it. No spoilers. But then My Girl 2, like, really has nothing to do with 1. It's just she's a little older and she's going on this whole adventure on her own.
Right.
That's like immediately when I was done reading that, I was like, holy crap, I don't know how she did this, but she mixed, which My Girl 2 is not a thriller in any way. It's very lighthearted, very like coming of age.
Oh, I'm excited to check it out. Thank you for the rec.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so grateful that you took the time to read it and just to be here to talk to both of you about it. It means so much.
You were talking about a next book. Can you tell us anything about it?
It's very, very different. This is a big popcorn thriller, partially set in the reality TV music world. It's got an updated twist on the film Sunset Boulevard. Don't know if you have seen it. And it is a lot of fun. This one is it's just fun. So I wrote it to give people a good old time. There's 2 POVs, our main narrator, and then the Sunset Boulevard character is the other narrator.
Well, good.
I can't say too much more because I'm actually submitting it to my publisher this week.
Oh, wow. You're done already?
Yeah, I finished
Holy
it.
cow.
Yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen is the honest truth. It's, as I said, it's a lot of fun. It is it leaves the potential for there to be a sequel, which is different than this book. So it's just a big popcorn thriller with filled with characters who suffer from delusions of grandeur, are aggrieved, are cray-cray, not all there, but on a mission. And yeah.
Well, you can tell your publisher that your readers said that if it's not dual timelines, then our second favorite is dual point of views.
Okay.
Because that's the truth.
It actually starts off dual timeline, but then they intersect.
Oh, nice.
And then the two POVs intersect in the present.
Nice.
So it starts off dual, but pretty quickly they mesh. I have to say, and I don't really know what this says about me as a person, but I really enjoyed writing the character who behaves very badly the most.
Sometimes we get to live vicariously that way.
Yeah, I'm a very square person, and I think I was getting my yayas out that way. That's the only thing I could think of. It's like a freedom, It's like, oh, I get to break laws. Oh, I get to do all kinds of things. I was co-head writer for a Lifetime television romance series. It was a digital romance series. I think you can still find all of the episodes on YouTube. They're like all streaming on there. We had different series underneath this umbrella called Fall Into Me, but there were like different series underneath there. And I got to tell you, I think the best part of that job was I got to sit in on every single chemistry test.
Oh, wow.
Between the leads and oh my goodness.
Spill the tea.
Because this was like the guys that they got, they were just, knockouts, the actors, right?
Oh, of course.
So and then to see our actresses like having to like kiss each one, like 10 guys in a, after, just to make sure that it's like the chemistry is good between them. Oh,
gotta get your chapstick out.
In fact, I just heard something really, really interesting. I was listening to a podcast yesterday that I had never listened to before but I had just watched the show. The number one show on Netflix now is Nobody Wants This, which is a rom-com with Kristen Bell and Adam Brody. Creators of the show are two sisters in real life that have had a long-standing podcast for years.
Oh, wow.
One of them came up on my TikTok feed. Their podcast came up on my TikTok feed.
Wow.
They then talking about how the show got picked up for a second season came up yesterday on my feed, and they were doing a podcast. And then I looked and I saw the podcast. I was like, I'm going to listen to this. And I listened to the episode about the show, and they talked about how Kristen Bell, when they sold it to the network, the network was like, she's going to be starring in it. And actually the creator wanted to be the star, and they're like, no, that's not happening. And then when she saw things working and Kristen Bell actually doing, she was like, they were right. Like, I'm the writer. I'm not, this is not my jam. This was interesting though about the chemistry for me anyway, having been a producer and a writer and another, in this capacity. So Kristen wanted Adam Brody. She's like, we want Adam Brody. Adam Brody was not going to be someone, they were going to give him an offer and he was not going to have to read for it. He was just going to get an offer. And they were a little freaked out because they were like, what if the chemistry between two of them it doesn't work? And so they literally had like every Jewish actor, because Adam Brody plays a rabbi on the show. They had every Jewish actor imaginable, male actor, try out for the role. And some of them were great, but they came back to Adam Brody. And again, this was going to just be a straight up offer. You do not have to read for it, etc. And their chemistry is electric. I mean, that's what the show is. Because of their chemistry, it's everything, this show.
That's awesome.
And so, but I was thinking to myself, I was like, gosh, that really is a roll of the dice, because you can have two of the most, attractive actors and incredible actors, but they might not have chemistry. the second episode, that their first kiss is like legendary. I think it'll be in like, it's hot. It's real. Okay.
We're getting steamy in here.
So I'm just saying, episode 2 on Nobody Wants This, when they first kiss, that kiss. I had such a great time talking to you.
Thank
I'll do
you.
it again. I'll do it again.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm counting on it. This has been one of my funnest podcasts to do, I have to say. I've done like 10. This has really been fun.
Thank you so much for hanging out.
Oh, and thank you again for reading Since She's Been Gone. To be continued.
Thank you for listening to this chapter of conversations with some of our world's dark storytellers. This story may be over for now.
The next chapter is always waiting to be written.
Until then,
Dreadfully yours, Raven Rollins.